Hi guys, it's Rampant FM, and today we're going to be kicking off our FM22 content with NXGN 2022, which is basically the 50 best wonder kids in football when you're coming towards the end of the first season. And we'll just go through 1 to 50, have a wee bit of a look at each. Just before we kick off, I should probably apologise if I pronounce any of these wrong. Some of the names I'm less familiar with, so apologies in advance if I do screw up the names. So number 1, of course, is Pedri from Barcelona, well-known player, only 19-year-old, really no surprises, the guy's absolutely phenomenal. I'm going to throw a wee bit of shade out there for people, doing rebuilding Barcelona saves. I think it's a wee bit of a joke. I mean, it's not going to be a challenge with so many decent players still at the club. I know they're missing Messi, but Barcelona are still as strong as they were. The transfer values, that's a sort of new thing within FM22. If your scouting's not up to date, you'll see them crossed out, which I think some of these players will be because I've not actually scouted them all yet. But yeah, for Pedro himself, he obviously can play pretty much anywhere across the midfield, which is really good. We'll have a look at his minimum fee release, obviously 123 million. If you're thinking you're going to be getting cheap wonder kids off of Barcelona, you'll need to think again, because they still probably won't sell, despite obviously their well-known financial difficulties. They're not going to be selling these guys cheap. Let's have a look at what he's kind of doing first season. So 27 appearance, 4 goals, 7 assists, 2 player of the matches, and average rating is 7.44. Really decent from Pedri. Certainly, I think if you're a team on par with Barcelona or a team like Man City that could probably afford these sort of players, then Pedri would definitely be a person to go after. Our second player is Nuno Mendes. He's actually Sporting Lisbon, but he's on loan at PSG. A player kind of close to my heart. I did have him for my Wolves team in the FM Premier last season, obviously before he moved to PSG, but very highly rated. Looks really amazing. You'll see it, as I've noticed, it's kind of greyed out, so I probably will have to re-scout him, but I'm sure he's worth more than between 22 and 32 million. So let's see what he's doing for PSG. Of course, it's still a loan deal. I think they have an option to buy. 25 appearances and an average rating of 7. Sort of 0.04, which is great. Let's have a wee look at his contract actually. So yeah, they do have an optional future fee of 34 million, which is an absolute steal, despite obviously his minimum fee release being 60 million. So well done to PSG for getting a wee bit of a bargain there. Great player. So number 3 is Elijah Moriba of RB Leipzig. You'll see his valuation is quite insane, between 72 million and 86 million. I've not actually scouted him, but I'm pretty sure it will be signing whatever the price. He can play pretty much anywhere, from anywhere between defensive mid to striker. I think his most natural role is centre mid, so you'd probably have to do training on both of these sort of roles. Great stats, great technicals and mentals and physicals. Looks a really good player. There's no clauses with his contract, obviously we're not in Spain or Portugal, so they bought him from Barcelona for 16 million, which looks an absolute steal. 22 appearances, 3 goals, 1 assist and 1 player of the match, and his average rating is 6.91. Not bad. So another Barcelona player, rebuilding Barcelona indeed. Ansu Fati, obviously well known. Again, I'll need to do a wee bit of more scouting to get his actual transfer value, because it's now out of date, but yeah, he's probably worth more than between 30 and 44 million. Let's have a wee look at his minimum release, if you want to pay it, is 342 million. You're not going to get these guys cheap. I don't care what anyone says. You might be able to do it on a sort of structured deal, but yeah, Barcelona, I don't think they're in the business, even though they're in massive debt, to be selling off their best players. For this season so far, I do suspect he might have had an injury or something, because he's only played 18 games. He scored 4 goals, 1 player of the match, and his average rating is 7.31, which is pretty decent. So yeah, another Barcelona player, Angelo Alicorn. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly. On the cheaper end here, between 4.2 million and 5.4 million, I believe that's probably his minimum fee release. His stats don't look that great at the moment, but he is one of the younger guys on the list, obviously only being 17. Looks like he can play on either wing. Stats not really impressive at the moment, but as I say, he's only a breakthrough prospect. So yeah, his minimum fee release is 12 million at the moment, which seems like a real bargain if you can develop him into a star player. So let's see if he's not actually played at all for the senior team. He's played for Barcelona B, 7 appearances, 2 goals, 1 player of the match, and his average rating was 7.52. But yeah, he could be one of the cheaper options on this list. So number 6 is Ryan Graven Birch. the centre mid, always highly rated. He's been highly rated the last sort of few FMs. I quite like him. I think he excels in centre mid. I don't really play DMs too much now. I don't think he's the best attacking mid option, but centre mid he seems to be his home. Between 63 and 77 million is going to cost you an absolute wallop there. A player well worth it, really good potential. Obviously doesn't have any minimum fee releases because we're in Holland. He's played 24 times this season, scored 3 goals, 3 assists, 1 player of the match, and an average rating of 7.30. Really good player, Ryan Graven Birch. So Benjamin Cesco, hopefully again I pronounced that correctly. His value is between 10.5 and 17 million. Again, one of the sort of younger players, only 18-year-old. He is at RB Salzburg. Do need to do a bit of a scouting on him, but he's a centre forward. His final third stats look pretty decent. He's got a lot of decent physicals, as you can see. Don't think there'll be a minimum fee release. Nah, there's nothing there. Fairly cheap option, I think. For Salzburg, he has had 15 appearances, scored 9 goals, 0 assists, funny enough, 0 player of the matches, and his average rating is 7.15. So number 8 is Harvey Elliott. He's contracted to Liverpool, obviously. His value is between 16 million and 20 million. Preferably played on the wing, the right midfield. I'll be interested to see if he's getting a game over the likes of Salah and stuff like that. I've not personally seen it myself, but really decent player, a really decent potential. Again, don't think there's any sort of minimum fee releases. He's only on 20 grand per week, but I'm assuming if you want to get him into another team, he'll be wanting a lot more than that. For Liverpool, he's only made 6 appearances, 2 assists, and his average rating is 6.90. Definitely one that's probably not a starter right away. I'm not actually sure if Liverpool loan him out or that, but he's certainly behind the likes of Sané and Mo Salah first season, but he's definitely one that could develop very well. So staying in England, we have Shola Shoretire. Hopefully I've said that right. You'll see that his valuation is actually out of date, but it was previously at between 26 million and 32 million. My scout somebody says he would be a superb signing for the future. Again, physicals really decent. Alright technicals, there's a few things that we could probably develop, but he looks like a sort of left winger. And he's not made any appearances so far this season. So his non-competitive stats, he's had quite a lot of appearances, 18 goals, 25 assists, 10 player of the matches. His average rating is 7.87, which is really good for like the under 18s, under 23s. So rounding off our top 10, it's a Croatian Wonderkid this time, 16-year-old, again another one of the younger ones. He actually has a transfer arranged. Let's see who he's moving to. He's moving to Bayern, so they've picked up a decent sort of buy there, between 1.5 and 3.3 million. I'll need to actually check that. But yeah, it looks really decent attacking mid, can play either side, and centre mid as well. It does say approach to sign, so I wonder if I could have signed him. I don't know if I had a transfer arranged. He's not actually played in the Croatian league at all, but I don't actually know if I've got that league loaded, so that might be the issue there. So yeah, another player at Barcelona on loan from Rapid Vienna, Yusuf Demar. His value at the moment is between 12.5 and 16.5 million. Plays right mid, attacking mid, left mid. Can play a wee bit of centre mid and up front. His dribbling's really good. That's probably one of the standouts to me. His physicals look really good. He's still quite young, the Austrian, 18-year-old. So he does have a minimum fee release of just over 16 million. But Barcelona do have an optional fee of 8.5. Again, great business by the top teams. Assuming that's why they're top teams, because they're good at what they do. And he has been getting games for Barcelona. He's played 12 times, he scored 2 goals with 2 assists, 1 player of the match, and his average rating is 7.21, which is really decent. But yeah, you've probably heard of this boy. So number 12 is Wisdom Ame of Bologna. His value is between 0 and 5.4 million, very young at 16, the Italian. His physicals really look great. He's a centre back. I don't think I can sign him, nope. Let's see if he's been actually getting a game. I don't think he would have, no. So he's not in the senior team yet. So he has played 21 non-competitive games, scored 2 goals, and his average rating is 7.61, which is really decent. So he could be a decent one potentially for the future. Unlucky for some, I probably will butcher this guy's name. I'm assuming it's Gabriel Missoy from Ajax, 16-year-old. Looks like he plays sort of centre mid, defensive mid, attacking mid. Really young, but his value is between 6.6 and 8.4 million. I do need to actually scout him a wee bit further, but some decent sort of stats there. But yeah, one that you would probably have to work on and give a few games. I doubt he's played. Yeah, so he's still on a youth contract. I don't think I can actually buy him or get him for free, as you can do with some of these players. He's actually played twice for Ajax in the league. Average rating 6.90. For non-competitive, it's 7.12. So still work to be done with that player. So moving on to number 14, we have Florian Wendt of Bayer Leverkusen, one of my favourite German players in FM21. I can only assume he's got better in FM22, although one for the future sign where it's whatever the price. The value between 50 million and 71 million says it all. Really good mentals. Technicals not as good, but some decent physicals. Really decent player. I rate him. I used to play him attacking mid. I would definitely recommend him, having had him previously on previous versions. In terms of Leverkusen, he's played 11 times, scored 1 goal, 1 assist, but his average rating is 7.44, which is really, really decent. This guy, love him. So another German to round off our top 15, it's Lukas Netz of Borussia Mönchengladbach. Predominantly a left back that can play sort of left wing back, left midfield, left attacking midfield. Again, I kind of need to do a wee bit of scouting on him, but transfer value looks like it's between 10.5 and 16.5 million. Really like his physicals, really decent for a sort of wing back. He can also play on the right as well, but it looks like left's his main sort of area. He's made 8 appearances, 1 assist. His average rating is a wee bit low, but considering he's quite young, he's non-competitive 7.74. So I'd probably be looking more at this than what he's played, because he's only played 8 games for Borussia. But yeah, it looks like a really decent wing back option. So something a wee bit different is Andreas Schjelderup. Looks like a left midfielder who can play sort of attacking mid or centre mid. Can be trained sort of further back as well for the defensive mids and left midfielder roles. Playing his football in Denmark. I've actually heard about this player. I think he was actually highly rated in FM21. Star player obviously in Denmark. Looks really decent. Still quite young at 17-year-old, and his value is between 8.4 and 11 million. Not sure if he'll have any sort of minimum fee release. Nope, he's not on a lot of wages. Would suspect he'd probably want a wee bit more if he's coming abroad. So in the Super League, he's played 21. He's had 21 appearances, 1 goal and 3 assists. His average rating is 6.98, which isn't overly high, but given that he's still quite young, I'd expect him to get a lot better there. So everyone should know this name from FM21, Eduardo Camavinga, who's recently moved to Real Madrid in real life. He's actually loan listed, which is interesting. But yeah, his mentals, physicals, not so much his technicals, but yeah, really an all-round decent player. One of the few minus 10s in FM21. He's got a minimum fee release of 108 million. Of course, Real Madrid only got him for 26.5. What is it with these good clubs signing up the top talent for probably cheaper than what they're worth? You'd expect there to be some sort of other deals in there. But yeah, he's had 10 appearances. They all look like they've been coming from the sort of bench, which is not ideal for him. But 6.75 average rating. For non-competitive, it's 7.73. So yeah, not looking good for Camavinga first season, but I'm assuming if someone gets him out on loan, he'll be a world beater. Not 100% sure if his PA is still the same at this sort of stage, but yeah, a player I like. So another young Norwegian playing abroad, contracted to Club Brugge. It's Antonio Nusa, and his transfer value is between 8.4 and 11 million. Really good sort of stats for 16. You could do a lot of development. He certainly looks like a winger. Don't think he's going to have any. Yeah, he's on quite a not a lot there, but I'm assuming again you'd probably want more if he was coming abroad. Club Brugge are a decent team, to be fair. Still in the under 18s, hasn't made a first team start for them this season, but 4 non-competitive appearances, and his average rating is 7.5, which is really good. So number 19 is Angelo, contracted to a team in Brazil, San. I'm sure if you've got like the real name fixes, it will tell you who it is, but for everyone else it is San. 17-year-old Brazilian, right midfielder, sort of can play sort of attacking as well. Dribbling really decent. His finishing's a bit low for that, but again, he's only 17. Not really much to be that impressed with, but certainly his transfer value looks decent. He might have a minimum fee release. I forget if yeah, he does. So foreign clubs, it's only 13.25 million, which is decent. For domestic clubs, it's much higher. That's crazy amount of money. But yeah, you should be able to get him fairly easy if you want to take a punt. But his stats don't actually look that good compared to similar players that we've seen that are young. So in fact, he's only made one appearance. Actually, he's made one appearance, but he has actually done wonders there with the 7.90. Not sure how he never got a player on the match there. Not overly impressed with his stats despite his young age. So we're going to finish on Youssef Moukoko, another -10, similar to Eduardo Camavinga that we've talked about previously. You look at the dribbling, look at the finishing, look at the first touch, absolutely epic. I'm actually going to have to scout him a wee bit more because he's now worth more than between 26 million and 31 million. Although one for the future, sign him whatever the price, obviously. Who's he wanted by? Let's see. Porto Wendt. Wait, he's out of contract. Right, so if he's going to be out of contract, definitely try and sign this guy. Unreal that he's not signed. Let's have a wee check of what he wants. I cannot believe he's not signed. That's surely a bug. Let's have a look at what he wants. So he might be out of contract, but he's keeping his options open, which is a wee bit disappointing. I would have loved to have got him on board, obviously. But yeah, keep that in mind. Let's have a further look. That's going to be one. If you can get him after the first season, that's going to be amazing. He is actually starting for Borussia Dortmund, which is amazing. 13 appearances, 3 goals, average rating 6.63. Not that great, to be honest. But of course, his age and his potential for his non-competitive. Always sort of look at the non-competitive. They're a young player, see how they're doing in the youth leagues. And for that, his average rating is 7.44. 12 appearances, 9 goals. It looks like 6 of them were penalties. I don't know if that's included in the goals or what, but weird. 2 assists. That's a bit of an interesting one. So yeah, keep in mind, certainly him, if you can get him in after the first season, that's got to be an error, surely. But we'll wait and see with that one. I'm going to be doing a lot of content for FM22, hopefully. I'll be doing my Wonderkids video for Scotland. I'll be obviously doing a lot of more editor videos. There's certain videos that I done last year that I thought could be explained a wee bit better. Maybe the aspect ratio could have been a bit better. There's things I missed, obviously, and it just created more questions. I probably won't be doing a save of that on FM22, but we'll wait and see. If it goes well, we will be. But yeah, appreciate all the support as always. Like and subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you soon.